This is a conversation about how we can enable a new operating model for Scott Batter to truly recognize the potential of the Commonwealth Charter and high value system inside the organization. The dream is to have a self-organizing organization where employees can self-assign themselves the right tasks at the right effort, delivering the right quality of work. Now, some research has already been done in this area. It's typically called a self-directed work team. Self-directed work teams are defined as groups of employees who combine different skills and talents to work without the usual managerial support towards a common purpose or goal. And the reason I bring this forward is a fair amount of research has been done in what environment is necessary to create a self-directed work team. And there are basically 6 elements. They include 1, the team needs a clear vision. The organization has to be precise about where it wants to go for that super long-term goal. It then has to translate that into some sort of direction that the organization needs to go in, a strategy. And from there, we need to clearly understand the expectations of the teams and the individuals towards that strategy. Then, individuals and teams need clear accountability around key performance indicators. But for all that to work, it needs to have this deep employee leadership trust built up. And then finally, a culture where we can help each other. It's called a coaching culture. So those are the 6 elements of self-directed work teams. Now what's interesting is we look at these and we look at the unique position that Scott Batter has. You've already dealt with some of these issues. So for example, where we have defined expectations, in your value system, that's really what you call responsibility. We need to understand what we're responsible for in the organization and take that responsibility seriously. What they define as accountability around KPIs, in your value system, it's about commitment. Now what's interesting to me is this leadership employee trust is in fact what the Commonwealth is all about. And then finally this coaching culture is what we describe as teamwork at Scott Batter. So what's interesting is the academic framework of what's necessary for self-directed work teams, or this new operating model, is in fact the foundation that Scott Batter is built on. Now the work we're about to undertake between the TNS and the future fit goals really are this vision component. And when we take that and develop the strategy map like we did for Zagreb, that's what sets the overall direction. What are the specific goals and their priorities to move us forward? The responsibility comes through what we call the ontology, where we take a look at the strategic objectives down the left and across the top, the core activities of the business unit. And then we can quickly identify where are the key performance nodes, where are the secondary and tertiary nodes, and help us understand both what processes need to do to enable success, but also what we need to do cross-functionally. And that clearly defines our responsibility, especially if we back that up with a role clarity model like RACI. From there, we just add information, data about how we're performing so that we understand how we're performing against our commitments and can ensure that alignment across the organization. The Commonwealth itself becomes enabled through adding this data onto the ontology. Again, what this allows us to see is the warp and weave of how the Commonwealth performs and ensures that all areas are pulling in the right direction. And teamwork becomes the new management practices we have on a weekly, monthly, quarterly basis to ensure that all activities are aligned and the strategy is constantly refreshed towards that ultimate vision. So this is our response to how the work that we're doing through TNS and the Sustainability Scorecard integrates into this new operating model of self-directed work teams.